Got my sidewalks all shoveled, Perry, before, all that stuff, the little sidewalks and all that, and ran the truck up and down the driveway a few times to get down to the asphalt. So now today, the cold weather should dry that off, and everything will be fine. That's the key. You got to get the jump on that shoveling business, or else you'll have ice and it'll take days to melt. So we're supposed to get maybe more snow later on in the week, 1 to 3 inches, they're saying. So winter is here. Talk to you guys later. W3MMR, N1SNG, W2SDR.
We'll send it back up to you, Glenn. N1SNG in the in the two-man group. W3MMR.
Yeah, I don't know if Jay's still with us. WA2IXP. Jay, are you still there?
Yeah, I've just been listening. I'm getting ready to head out the door. Well, head out the garage door back into the house. But I just wanted to say so long to you guys and hello to Perry, W3MMR. My name is Jay. I'm in Jackson, New Jersey, and you got a real good signal here, Perry. Go ahead.
Hey, Jay. Good morning, man. Sorry, I didn't know you were. I thought you'd already bid adieu to the group, but great signal out of Jackson, New Jersey this morning. Yeah, I'm right down here in Philadelphia. Well, right 7 miles southwest of the Philly International Airport here in Delaware County in Chester, Pennsylvania, man. So not too far from you, but you're putting in a great signal down here, Jay. You're about 15 over S9 with an S8 noise floor, so no problem here. Go ahead.
Okay, very good. Well, we're close, and we're doing the same. Very, very strong signal, and all you guys, and Frank also, I can just start to hear a little background noise creeping in, so the sun must be headed up a little bit in the east. But good to talk to you all, and I'll try to get in here on what's supposed to be more early in the morning, and we can talk some more. I want to talk to Glenn about his Jeep. So, but I got to run now, so have a good day. M1SNZ and the W2SBR sign, W3MMR. Perry, so long.
Yeah, okay, Jay. Nice meeting you, and yeah, feel free to stop by anytime. Yeah, always good topics from automotive to aviation to railroad to whatever. 7-3s for now, Jay. And Perry, yeah, good on that little exhaust system. I know back in the day, Ford probably had the best interiors on the pickup trucks, and they had the two-tone paint jobs. You could get those in different schemes, and they had the camper special. Of course, the Lariat. I had an '89 F-150. I bought a brand new 4x4. And that was a Lariat, and that came with I think it had a 351 Windsor at the time. Had dual gas tanks, 2 20-gallon tanks. Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then I had a 1974 F-250 four-wheel drive. And it was kind of like the camper special. It had heavy-duty leaf springs on it from the factory. So basically, it looked like it had a lift kit. And that had the 360, a 2-barrel. Actually, I put a new short block in it. The engine that came with it really it needed a rebuild, and it was cheaper to just buy a crate motor. So I put that in there, and had a 4-speed transmission, and I put dual exhaust on it. Plus back in the day, just ran out the sides, A couple of, I forget what I had in there. I think Black Max mufflers or something. Sounded really good. That thing was a beast, though. And but it was a lot of fun to drive. Then I had the Ford 1990 XLT Ranger package. That was nice too. That was two-tone. I didn't have the extra cab. Just had like a little cab in the back there. So I've had my fair share of Fords, but it sounds like that was really nice. Every once in a while, you'll see one around here. Somebody's just redone them, Basically brought them back to how they looked on the showroom floor. But yeah, some good iron there. They don't make them like they used to. That's for sure, Of course. But anyway, I believe Frank has signed. I'm going to pass it over to Frank if he's still in there. If not, Perry. Just pick it up there. So W2SDR possibly. If not, over to you, Perry.
M1SNG W3MMI. More. Why is this dropping now? Stand by 1 second, Glenn. I want to see something here. Let me unkey for about 5 seconds. Stand by. Man, I'm getting into my stream, my recording here. I don't know why. It's being funky this morning. It's always something, man. Anyway, I just sent you off some pictures, Glenn, via email. Make sure they sent, because sometimes when I try to send pictures, it's like they say, oh, it's too big. The email's too big. And like, I only send 3 photos. I'm like, what the hell do you mean the email is too big? It says I can add 80, but I guess they're too big of photos. But anyway, I should have sent there. The cool thing about this truck is the number one, the interior is like immaculate on it. What I'll do is I didn't take any interior pictures. I'll do take some interior pictures today when I go to back the thing out, because it's still inside at the shop. But when I go to back it out, I'll take some interior pics. Anyway, the cool thing was I'm underneath the thing yesterday, and I'm looking up at the bed sides. And I'm seeing these like compartments, and I look at the side of the bed, man. It's got these little like secret compartments, not secret, but you know, cargo compartments right in the front of the wheel wells on the bed sides, man. And all these other little compartments everywhere. So I guess that was the thing, man. Back in the day, was, you know, cargo space like that. Because you don't, I guess you see, you know, new truck manufacturers trying to. You know, do similar things like that, you know, now, like with all the I guess like the, you know, the new Dodges where the bed sides, like the bed rails open up and you can store things down inside the bed sides, and, you know, the multi-function tailgates and all that stuff. You know, it seemed like all that stuff went away for a while. It's like, you know, the 80s and 90s and 2000s, you didn't have any of those types of features. And then, you know, the 2010s, and here we are in 2020, the 2020s, and, you know, there's a lot of trucks out there with options of that type. So I guess they say things always go full circle and go back to the way they were at first, right? They say to go with your first decision always. Anyway, so yeah, that's a story on that. Real cool, Glenn, on the trucks. I had an 89 F-150. It was an 89? Because I had an 89, okay. I had an 87 F-150. The 89 was 4-wheel drive. The 87 was 2-wheel drive. The 87 ended up being a parts truck. I got that off my mom's ex-boyfriend. And it was a 5-speed short bed, standard cab, 87 F-150 with a straight 6 with the 4.0 in it. With a 4.9. And then I got mine, which was a 4-wheel drive long bed standard cab, 5-speed manual, and I freaking loved that truck. I should have never got rid of that truck. That was the first truck I ever registered in my name, first truck that I ever, you know, ever did a lot of things in, man. And ended up blowing the transmission in and selling it for super cheap. Because I was probably 17 when I had this truck, 16. And I remember I pulled up into this pizza place with my girlfriend, right? I always put the truck in first gear. I never used the emergency brake. So I'm sitting there, and I pull up in the parking spot, press the clutch in, I go to put the truck in the first gear, and Glenn, as soon as I break the threshold and go into gear, I mean, it was like an explosion. The truck shot. I mean, it felt like an earthquake. A bomb went off outside. The truck shut off, and then everything was locked up. I ended up snapping the input shaft of the transmission. I don't know how it did it and how it could have broke like that, but it did. And at the time, I was young and broke, and, you know, and I couldn't afford a transmission. So I ended up getting, was it 1982 or 83 Honda CRX with over 500,000 miles on it. Ended up selling the truck for $500. Ended up buying that car for $500. And drove the Honda CRX around for a while until that thing blew up. So I had a lot of jalopies when I was a kid, man. My dad, he wasn't one of those. He was always one of those dads. You know, he taught me a lot of responsibility and work ethic, and I had to work hard for things of mine. Nothing was given to me, And I thank him for that, man. Because there's a lot of kids I grew up with who had like real nice cars. Their parents were co-signing for them, and and all this stuff. My dad was like, I'm not co-signing for anything, so you can screw my credit up, because he knew how I was, So I went through the jalopy thing, and I loved it, man. So, but now I still have old cars. I have a 2000 Honda or 2000 Toyota Camry with over 200,000 miles on it. Drives like brand new. But I know a little more about cars than I did now when I was 16. But I'm sure back then I thought I knew everything I do now, Great signal still down here, Glenn. Sounding good, man. I wonder where Gary is this morning. I wonder if Gary's lurking in the background or if there's anybody else lurking. Back up to you, Glenn. N1SNG, W3MMR with the old buzzer for the morning.
Yeah, W3MMR with N1SNG. Okay, very good, Perry. Yeah, I know. I back in the day, if we even had a chance to get a vehicle and it needed stuff, I hung around with a bunch of guys, and we're kind of like the pit crew. Drive it over, get it in the garage, and pull the wheels off, have the brakes done, the new brake lines, gas lines, water pump, timing chain. I mean, you go right through them, it was kind of cool. Driving for a little while, and nothing fancy. Nothing fancy, for sure. Cars, trucks. Yeah, because you've seen the police cruiser that I had there. I had another one just like that. That was gold color. Yep. But on that F2, I think it's an F-150 or 250 you got in the shop there. I think you said it's a greenish color. Mine was also, I think, the same color. It wasn't a dark green. It wasn't a light green. It was kind of in between. Had the green plaid seats in it. But, the Lariat packages, a lot of them came through with the fabulous interiors. And, you could order those with a rear slider, for the rear window there. That was a big deal back in the day, if you had a gun rack and all that stuff. And also the cab lights, too. They had these orange pale lights that went on the roof. Those were real cool. And you could order those. And, those compartments, that was part of a camper special package, I believe. And I think they were locking type. And I think they were on both sides. And that was just to keep, if you had the sliding camper, you could keep all your hardware and stuff in those in like little toolboxes. Yeah, those are really cool. And the step bumpers, the big steel step bumpers, diamond plate, they threw on the back of those. So yeah, totally different. But back in the day, it was basic. Not too much else going on. Of course, motor options. I think you could get some of those bigger trucks up with a I don't know if it was the 460 or I think it was a 460, a 400, 351. There was a whole list of engine options. I don't know, the diesels came out, I think when they came out. But, yeah, it sounds like you had a lot of fun playing around with this stuff. And, yeah, those high-mile cars. Volkswagen, that was a car with a lot of laughs. And before I got it, a buddy of mine, they're going down the highway, and it just started snowing out, so there was only like about a half inch of slush on the highway, snow. And the floor was rotted out, so the driver's side, the floor panel in the front, underneath the brake and the clutch, it just dropped down. And when it did, because it hit the pavement, but it scooped up all of the snow and the slush off the road up into the driver's compartment of the Volkswagen, and it pinned my friend. He had to pull over because it was pinning him in the front. It was just scooping it up. Luckily, this other guy, another friend of mine, was with him and kind of like had to dig him out of the front seat. Yeah, that little car, I'll tell you, yep. Had a lot of fun back in the day. You could work on them yourself, you know, and everybody knew a little bit about getting those old cars running, old trucks, and of course there was some that they didn't have any help at all. They were just, basket cases. But, yeah, sounds like you get some good photographs of that there. I'd be interested in seeing those. So always a blast to the past, for sure. W3 MMR, possibly others, N1 SNG.
N1 SNG, W3 MMR. God, man. See, I was talking about being sore from yesterday, man. My hips, like my hip joints, are freaking killing me. Last night, Glenn, it hurt so bad to the point I could barely stand up. Like, I don't know, it was weird, man. I don't know if I thought I was dehydrated or something, but I think it was just, like I said, the way I was standing under the truck, because I'm short, okay, and like the truck I had it on a 4-post drive-on lift, drive on a rack, you know, so the truck sits up a little bit higher than the rack, you know, because sits up pretty high, the truck, so I have to, to be able to reach what I'm trying to weld, I have to keep the lift pretty low to where I have to crouch underneath of it to get under, and I'm crouching under the differentials, and, you know, every time I got to get out and, you know, grab another thing or go over to the pipe bender, the expander, to the chop saw, or to the welder, and so maybe that's it, but man, oh man, my hips are killing me right now, dude. All of a sudden, it started hurting again. You're dead on with those compartments, dude. Dead on with the compartments. They both are locking. They're both on either side. They're both right in front of the wheels. And I'm going to check to see if it says camper special on it, because I think it does. I know it says XLT on the bed. I think on the back of the bed. You know, but I'll check for the camper special thing, because it does have a camper shell in the back, but it's not a camper compartment, you know, like them big slide-in campers, which I always wanted, man, because and the one I always wanted is an old Toyota. You know them old Toyotas? Do you remember them old Toyota U-Hauls? Like the small U-Haul you could buy that had like the Toyota. It was like the Toyota truck, and then it had the U-Haul box on the back. Well, a shop I worked at in South Carolina had one. It was basically the same, you know, Toyota truck, you know, but it had a camper on the back, you know, big camper thing in the bed, man. I'm in love with. I love those trucks. There's 22RE 4-cylinder engines, and you can't kill those things. That's why the terrorists drive them over the desert, because they don't have to take care of them. They'll last. But anyway, I'd love to have one of those campers, man, if you can find one. I mean, I'd just love to have the camper itself to put it in the back of my Dodge pickup, you know, because I love to go camping if I could find somebody to go camping with, but it's just hard to. My dad isn't into the camping thing much anymore. Maybe I could convince him, but he likes going down to like the shore and going to the beach and, you know, staying at a house down there, and doesn't like to, you know, break down and pack up and sleeping on the hard ground, you know, all that stuff, and, you know, I guess in his older age there, so that's a story on that, Glenn. Yeah, I sent those pictures off to you. See if I can grab some more today. And you had mentioned about, you know, going to your buddy's house working on cars. We had a friend's house, Danny Burkholz. His dad owned his family. Well, he owns the business now, but it was a firewood and land clearing and like you know, tree removal and stuff like that. And they had this big pole barn that was probably, God, it had to be 80 or 90 feet long by probably 35 or 40 feet wide. It was huge. giant wood stove in there. And that's where we used to go hang out, man, at night and, drink beer, smoke a little bit, and work on our stuff, man. I remember working on my 77 Dodge in there. I remember, working on that Ford so many times in there, working on their trucks, their big Super Duties for the business, and sharpening chainsaws at night, just riding four-wheelers, fighting each other, all types of craziness, boxing in there, and we were a bunch of nuts, man. But we're all grown up now. Everybody's got kids, and nobody talks to anybody anymore. So, oh, man, that's what happens, I guess, when you get old. All right, Glenn, I'll send it up to you. I'll stick in here for another one. I got to hit the command center soon, man. But I'll stick in here with you for another round. You got a great signal down here, Glenn, this morning. The band's been in fantastic shape past few days. Have a little bit of line noise. I get some line noise in there. I can't find it either, but it's 100% power line noise. It's somewhere in the neighborhood, but it's really not bad. My noise blanker takes it out until a strong signal comes in, and then it on these SDRs, Glenn, with the noise blanker, if you have the noise blanker works really, really good. It can take power line noise out like a light switch. However, if there's a strong signal on the band, within a certain range, and if it breaks a certain threshold, it effectively shuts the noise blanker off. So if I'm listening on, say, 3873, and there's a station below me that's on sideband, it's really strong. Every time he modulates, the noise blanker goes on and off. It's so it gets really annoying. But for the most part, it takes it out. So, but there's nothing like those old diode limiters in the old receivers. In my opinion, they work the best. N1SNG W3MMR.
Yeah, okay, Perry. Yeah, I know the feeling. You go out and you start working on the vehicles, and you're underneath there, and you got no head support or back supports or anything, and a good couple of ibuprofen usually take care of that. But you don't find out until the next day anyway. But on those Toyotas, I think they came with a 4-cylinder diesel too. Maybe that's what you were pointing out. I remember seeing a lot of those, and they actually had dual wheels in the back. And those are sought after, from what I understand. Like the VW, the Volkswagen buses and all that. So anything that was any good now is, becoming more desirable for those who, want to go back in time a little bit and have the old vehicle and so on and so on. I always used to have a cap on the back of the truck. But when I went four-wheeling years ago, I didn't have. I had some big pickup trucks, but I ended up pulling out a lot of people that were stuck in the mud and all that, with those. You couldn't really take them into the narrows of the woods, So I had a Jeep CJ5 that I bought brand new in '75. That was a blast. Nice short wheelbase. You could get right in the woods. And then I had a '71 Bronco, the 302, and then I had the '77 Bronco with the 302. Those were nice. And I had an old Jeepster Commando. It was 1971, kind of an odd-looking thing, but that was a lot of fun. Then I had a Jeep Cherokee, 1976 Cherokee, 258 6-cylinder, Offenhauser 4x carburetor on it with headers. That was a blast, that one there. And then I had a Jeep pickup with an old J3000. Yeah, I went through more vehicles, Perry, and I had a lot of fun doing it. And the reason was that all of us guys that hung out, that's what we were into. Drinking beers, partying, and four-wheeling. Of course, back in the day, there were a lot of properties in this area we could go. Now there's basically nothing. Really not too much. But we used to go out in the snowstorms, so you got a big snowstorm coming? Oh, yeah, we're ready. We get the four-wheel drives, we'd go up into the local management areas dirt roads, nothing off-road to say, rock climbing, but just a blast into the woods in the snowstorm. And and then slowly everybody got married, hitched up, and you didn't see them in the four-wheel drive anymore. They're in the minivans and so on. Life goes. But I've always had one, and I got the Tundra. The Tacoma. That works well for me. And then of course the Jeep. Somewhere in the garage. I'll find it someday. I'll get back to you, Perry. I got to get a run for it there. But anyway, great chatting with you this morning. And of course your dad coming in here, and I'm surprised you didn't hear Gary. But anyway, snowstorms here. The worst snowstorm, I don't hear that much. Back in the day, you'd get a snowstorm and you'd be, under the weather for, a couple of days. Then the sun would come out, but it'd be, the real big stuff. But that's okay. If it doesn't snow here, that's fine with me. But like your dad said, sometimes it's nice to have just a big, good 10 inches of snow and so on there. So Perry, back to you. I'll let you tie the ribbons on it. And thanks for sending off those pictures. I'll definitely check those out. Have a safe day. And be interesting to. That truck. I wonder what kind of mufflers you got on that. If that's kind of a stock system on there, or if it's got a little tone to it. W3MMR and 1SNG.
Just dragging my feet there. M1SNG W3MMR. Well, Glenn, it does have a little tone to it, but it is a stock muffler. It's supposed to be a quote-unquote stock muffler. Now, it's not the stock muffler that came with the truck. This truck I don't think it came with true duals from the factory. This thing, somebody put long tube headers on it a long time ago, and I sent you. You'll see the picture of the old exhaust I sent to you on the floor, where it's all literally every bend was welded. So whoever built the original exhaust didn't have a bender, so to make the bends they cut it and welded it. So this thing was all hacked up. So anyway, I literally had to hand make everything from the headers back. I had to hand make the flanges. I had to make a Y pipe. And then run the true duals back, to the muffler, dual in, dual out. The guy wanted duals in the back, and he didn't want duals coming straight out on either side of the the hitch. A lot of guys have 3-inch tips on either side of the trailer hitch in the back. He wanted 90 degree right out behind the tires. He wanted 90s right at the tires. So that was the most time-consuming part, was because the spare tire, trying to get over the differential, and trying to get between the leaf spring and the spare tire on the driver's side was a real pain. Trying to make those bends and get it in there, get it through there, get it equal to the passenger side tailpipe coming out the back, so they're both at the same level. It was finicky, man. This is why it took me 7 or 8 hours. Normally it doesn't take me a lot long to do an exhaust job, but this one did. And also, we were supposed to get 2-inch pipe for the job, and when the shipment of pipe came in, it was 2.5, so it was much larger than expected. So things were even more tight. But we got it done, and it was fun. It's satisfying, when you get done a job like that. But it did have some tone to it, man. And I'm pretty sure it had a 350. It has a 351 Windsor in it. I don't think it has a 460. Didn't look that big to me. Didn't look like a big block from underneath anyway. But I'm pretty sure it's got the 351 Windsor in it, and whatchamacallit. God damn it! Now I lost train of thought. But anyway, it's definitely got a good tone to it, Glenn. And I'll see if I can't make a video later too. I meant to do that yesterday, and so I usually take a video of the tone and send it to the customer or whatnot. So I'm just hoping it's quiet enough for him because he wanted it quiet, and it's not really that quiet. It's quiet enough, quieter than what it was. We'll put it that way. So, all right, Glenn, we'll say 7-3, man. Good chatting with you this morning as always. Glad I was able to catch you guys in here, even though I woke up a little late this morning. So, it's always a pleasure, man. 7-3. Stay warm. Have a fantastic day, Glenn, and we'll catch up with you probably tomorrow morning. Tie the ribbons on it, man. We'll be listening out. M1SNG from W3MMR.
WA1SOV.
Here at WA1SOB. Morning, Pete. And Perry, yeah, good on all that. Yeah, thanks for shooting over the pictures there. And yeah, I think with a truck like that, you know, with the 2.5s in there, that's really nice. I like that. 2.5. That's what I had on my police cruiser with the 440. Dual catalytic converters, dual exhaust. I mean, the exhaust system I think weighed a couple 100 pounds. But anyway, Perry, we'll catch you later. Have a safe day, and hope to catch you tomorrow morning. Maybe we'll do another story time or something there. Take care, Perry. W3MMR A1SNG. Over to you, Pete.
Yeah, okay, Glenn, N1SNG. And good morning to you, Perry. It's been a while since we've chatted. Pete and Sandy Hook here, Connecticut. Well, nice signals here on the band. I was tuning across, and I was going to put on the broadcast rig, but it's a little too chilly out. It's 15 degrees out, and that rig is out in the garage. So here I am on the Homebrew 813s. I rebuilt this thing. I rebuilt the modulator, put a different mod transformer in it because I lost the Chicago job that was in there a week or so ago. So hopefully it sounds okay. Anyway, good morning, Glenn. I think, Perry, you said you were signing, but nice signal here in Connecticut, listening to you both on the Hammerlin SP600. And Glenn, you're very strapping. Conditions are great here. I worked you and Gary a week or so ago. I was glad to hear you guys were firing up some early morning activity on the band. Anyway, N1SNG, WA1SOV.
Northwest. And high and dry here, no snow. Just cold air. And I think kind of the sun's coming out today or not. But in any case, we'll stay nice and warm here in the house for sure. But, I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee, Pete. I'll be back in a couple of minutes if you're going to still be around. So a little more radio time left here.
toot. Toot toot.
Positive. After you have a negative test.
These instant test at home things are, they give you two of them to take. They're so unreliable. Those things take it twice, several days apart.
Your signal's starting to, we're getting something weird happening here.
Oh, my amp went off. Hey, there you go.
Oh, okay.
I get my pure signal back here. W2FMU. That's weird. I clicked the wrong button. Now.
I was looking through HRO today online, and boy, the prices, especially for this fusion, so the ASU prices have gone up so much. Some of the, I don't know if I would even have some of these radios if I had to pay what you have to pay now, like almost $600 for an FTM 400.
Oh boy.
It's $589, and that's $150 more than I paid for mine.
Yeah, man, imagine that. That's inflation, so it only goes in one direction.
Well, some of the other prices, though, have come down. The other model, I guess more popular stuff, that there's a demand. The prices are still reasonable, like the 7300, and those radios are still down low,
Yeah. So I think maybe I'll buy a blackface while they're still $27.95 on free shipping.
I wonder how much we could get for the 7000s that we have. Oh, you want a spare?
Yeah. I always sell it if I have to, down the road. It's not going to go down in value, I don't think.
We get 2 SDR. Well, I have radios, spare radios, spare knob radios. I've got the 751A, I've got the 897D, I get enough radio. I'm not going to spend any more money on this hobby on stuff that I don't use. If I'm going to use it, I'll buy it. But if I'm just to sit on the shelf, I have no interest. How much snow did you get, all right?
Hey, Joe, about an inch, Joe, 1 inch.
Oh, boy. Good morning, Frank. Morning, I think that's you, Joe. Good morning.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong.
Oh, your QRP. Other than that, you sounded good.
I know what was wrong. I was running 28 watts instead of 400.
That's better.
Oh, you only got an inch. The way Brian was talking, you had more than that. And Frank, thank you so much for the pictures. Boy, that was beautiful from the road looking at the top of your house.
Yeah, we got about 8 to 10 inches, something like that, and we got all my little sidewalks around the house cleared off. That's real important to do that right away. So when it dries up and the sun comes up and stuff, you don't get any ice that'll take forever to go away because it's 14 degrees here this morning. So it's good to get that slush and ice out of the way before it freezes solid.
Oh, boy, did you have any problems getting to the store, getting your cat food and 5 gallons of fuel?
No, I had no problem. They had the roads all clear. My road was clear here by noon, so that was all done, so I never did. I didn't have to use my snow blower or anything, but I wanted that fuel anyway in case. I didn't have any. I always like to have some fuel around here for my generators and stuff like that in case of a power failure. Any time of year, really.
Oh boy, that's great. Well, I'm surprised that. Well, that's good, Ernie. You only got an inch.
Yeah, just if we got anything like Frank got, we'd be stuck here for a week or two.
Is that the first snow y'all have seen there?
That's the first we've seen this current winter. We had 5 snow events last year.
Oh, well, that's great. I imagine you and your missus. What's your temperature?
What did I say it was? It's 29 today. Yesterday was 24.
Oh boy. It's 46 here.
It's pretty cold for Florida.
Dang right it is. Yes, sir.
I hope it warms up above freezing today so I can disconnect my garden hose. We're supposed to get more snow on Thursday.
For 20 years, I never do it.
We're supposed to get more snow on Thursday.
So are we, yeah. So.
All right. Must be the same giant front going across the country.
I love it. It's probably because all those years I was responsible for snow removal at that hospital. Ever since I left there, I can sit back and enjoy it now. And it's just, I just thinking of that yesterday, man. I'm looking out my window and got a nice warm cat on my lap, watching a movie on TV, and I don't have to worry about a damn thing.
Attaboy.
Yeah, I enjoy it too. As long as I got nowhere to go, it's fine.
Did you ever notice when you push your snow button in your truck, on the dashboard, it says snow, and you see snowflakes coming down on your truck?
No, I've never pushed it.
Oh, it's so cool, man. You scroll through it when you get the snow. There's a little icon of your truck there, and it's got snowflakes coming down on top of it.
Yeah, cool.
That changes the whole shifting mechanism, but points and everything. Your RPMs are high. I mean, it does all kinds of things when you have those buttons pushed.
Oh yeah, it takes away your throttle, doesn't it?
I don't know what it does. It just changes things. I notice the RPMs are higher. I don't think it lets it shift as quick into the overdrive gears.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Supposedly it works really well.
Yeah, it does what it does, man. You don't have to worry. Boy, what a change from those four-wheel drives. You had to have locking hubs and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, that's a different animal, no doubt.
Four-wheel drive in your pickup truck, Joe? Do you have a button on the dash, or how does that work?
Don't have four-wheel drive in my vehicle.
Oh, okay. So all right, you don't have to worry about any of that.
No, sir, just two-wheel drive.
It's in Florida. You don't need that four-wheel drive unless you go on the beach. It's one advantage of living there.
Well, yeah, I haven't had a four-wheel drive vehicle, golly, since we got rid of our place in Colorado, 1994 or 5.
Tell you, all those years up here, I had rear-wheel drive cars. I never had a problem getting around in the snow. I mean, I couldn't plow through a foot of snow or anything, but I had snow tires or chains that I could put on and stuff, and everybody got by. It was before front-wheel drive cars, even that, everybody did it.
But anyway, it's just about at least the best part here in Peachtree City. Is really, it's almost like they're phasing out of the IT appliances and TVs and home theater and all that. They're not doing much at all down here with IT stuff. So I'm really about Microset. I haven't been up there in years, but now I'll be close enough to it. I can just run over there. So thanks for giving me the memory tip on that and everything. Well, Charlie, I'll tell you what, we really celebrated because Sunday we finished cutting up that weeping willow tree. That thing was a mess, I'm telling you. That thing it's like tentacles. It's like a dead blame octopus. And we got that thing down. We realized how nice our backyard was where we could see it. So we got it all cut up and bagged up, and boy, the place looks great now. So I'm sure glad we got that behind us. And I'm surprised we didn't have a power loss here with all the damage that was done, but we didn't. We did pretty well there. I toured the neighborhood yesterday and still had a lot of chainsaws going, but the damage, it looks like our next door neighbors with the two cars got crushed. But everything else were just trees falling that didn't touch any structure, so we did pretty good. Okay, Tommy, back over to you. K4FNY, KN4HH.
Okay, Bob, KN4HH. Group K4FNY. Well, yeah, you know, Weeping Willow is not my favorite tree either. They tend to be kind of messy. So, and they kind of break me out. I don't need to be around those things. Something I've got an allergy to them of some kind. But Max, I didn't know you were completely wired like that. I've got one thing I've got to do for me today is I've got security cameras wired here around the house. He gets almost put in. There's 4 of them. And they run on a monitor in the office. But yeah, Best Buy here, Bob has got a pretty good selection. It's not the one closest to the mall building. But they're not like Microset. I prefer the one at Microset. And as a side trip at Microset, go down to the Great Wall, the Asian market there, and just shopping. I'll tell you what, it's like going on a tour of Asia. You can buy vegetables that you can't find anywhere else. So that's always a trip to go down. It's close by here too to me. It's not but about 8 or 10 miles down there to the mall. Anyway, George, I tell you what, that sounds like a winter lounging around like that all day. I can use that. But I won't get to do that today or tomorrow. I've got stuff tied up. I'm going to go up to my daughter's to supervise. So I'm sitting in a chair and watching people take down some big pines in her house. And got a friend coming over today. We're going to do some audio work. And I think I'm getting ready to rebuild my Dynaco amp, recap the things that stereo equipment back running. I haven't done it since 58. So over to you, George. Speaking of music, I have my audio file stuff hooked up running so I can listen to a lot of music. KC5 HMI, the K4FNY. KK5IM. Everybody here, brother. Good deal on something that I don't get to know the possibility that usually when these things pop up, they're really available and around the ball. That's why I had a whirlwind what's on stuff out of the road. I Well, they didn't need it. I was really upset. I didn't get so much of a talent now. But I never really knew what that is.
It does throw off quite a bit of heat. But it is kind of low to the floor. It's about 12 inches up off the floor. And I do most of the tending in that department. And they have like 2 staging points. They got the racks out in the back. They're about 100 2x4s. And I stack all my wood up there, and then I bring it into the garage. I've got a 4x8 vertical rack, and I fill that up. That usually lasts maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks sometimes, depending on the burn. So it works pretty well. It's a secondary source of heat for us. You know, the primary, we have gas heat here, and that works well. It's all forced hot air, so. But we don't heat the basement. We really don't have to. I mean, it gets down to 50. Like today, it's like 62 degrees down here. The shack, of course, is just a small room. And it's probably like, I forget what it is here. Let me see. Look at the thermometer. It's 65 degrees here. So, a little bit of maintenance and yard work, and gonna keep me busy. And I'm working on a Jeep restoration project. I've got a CJ5. Working on that, and then just taking it easy. Yep. In the spring, I usually drag out the big LL beam hammocks. Throw those out in the back. And we just kind of take it easy, but definitely need some exercise. Gravity's doing a job on me. So we went SOV, I want SNG.
Yeah. N1SNG from WA1SOV. Very good. Glenn, yeah. Good on the wood and everything. Yeah, if you can get it reasonably, that's a great thing. I've never used those fire bricks here, but you know that's the same stuff, right? That goes in those stoves that burn that sawdust, compressed sawdust, whatever the hell it is. Forget what they call that. It'll come to me. But, yeah. Well, I had a couple of trees taken down over the last year. One of them was an ash that the ash borer got to and killed the whole tree. It was a big one. And thank God I had some help. Well, I didn't take the trees down. I hired somebody to do that. But thank God I had some help getting it split, because that was a much bigger job than I thought it was. And one of our neighbors who took care of our kids when they were young, their son and his significant other came over and helped me get it all split. I rented a huge log splitter, which could be moved vertical, and we were splitting 2.5, almost 3 foot in diameter pieces that were 18 inches long, 16, 18 inches long out of that thing, and that baby just cut right through them. I mean, it had a little difficulty if you got it in the wrong spot, but So I got a pile of wood in the back under a tarp, which I'm slowly bringing up to the house, which is what I got to move today from that ash tree, because it's well seasoned, just because the tree was dead before they took it down last year. And then I got another maple that we took down in front of the house that was dying. And it used to drop branches on the house, and so it's just a little too close, so I had that taken down. We've had some really fierce windstorms up here, as all of the Northeast has. Sure you've experienced them too. And they just ripped the hell out of weak trees, and so I didn't want that real close. And then we had another one that was a big old black cherry, which I actually managed to get a guy with a sawmill to take some of the better pieces from. So we got a little out of that, and the rest I've been using as firewood, split it up, and that black cherry, boy, that burns just beautifully. That was a big tree. That thing was 80 feet high or so, but it was leaning over the neighbor's yard, and it dropped a branch right where he keeps his camping trailer. You know, he has a fairly large fifth wheel. I guess I think that's what it is. And, he happened to be away camping that weekend with the thing. Just lucky, because if that branch had hit the trailer, man, it would have done some serious damage. But after that, I talked to him, and this thing was right on the property line, so he agreed to split the cost of taking it down. But I wound up with the firewood because he didn't want it, so anyways, worked out. So I've got a supply here, probably of about 3 cords. I won't go through that much this winter. And we here too have gas-fired furnace, and you know, it's this wood stove supplements it. Last year the wood stove, the gas furnace crapped out. Oh man, that was something. There's a fan assembly which exhausts the gas, spent gas fumes from the combustion chamber outside through a pipe. You know, it's I'd say this one's an older Well McLean. But it's still about 90% efficient. Anyway, the motor on that thing crapped out, and I had a hell of a time getting it replaced. I've got the part okay, but getting it out of there was a whole nother thing. It's like, I don't know, what was it? It's like 30 years old. 25, 30 years old, but it keeps running like a top, you know. So I don't want to replace it. And finally I had to get a guy to come who had the right tools to get it out of there, and he actually had to take the whole assembly to a shop to drill it out, to get it out, because the bolts were just frozen. There's no way to detach the motor from the rest of the assembly. But parts were available, you know, I got it. But we were out of gas heat for, I don't know, 3-4 days. Maybe it was closer to a week, I don't know. But the whole time I heated the house on the wood stove, and it did a pretty good job. It was not as cold as it is today, though, I will say. I think it was probably 30s, 40s last winter when that happened. Anyway, our kids are down in Virginia. They're having a blast with the snowstorm they got down there. They got hammered. I think my daughter over in King George, closer to the coast, got like a foot of snow or so, and they lost their power all day. That's quite a nor'easter they got. Nor'easter in the middle Atlantic. I think we're going to be in for it come Friday or this weekend. It's supposed to be some snow coming up. We'll see how much it is. I got to get... Yeah, I smell my dropping resistor getting hot, so I'm going to turn it back to you, Glenn. N1SNG, WA1SOV.
Yeah, WA1SOV, N1SNG. Yeah, that's another way of heating your home with a resistor. No. Yeah, it's if your home is insulated well enough, it should be okay. A lot of these old homes around here, when we bought in, they weren't insulated, and we had insulated with insulation blowing in the house. My neighbor up the street, he ripped the whole inside out of the house. And it was all the plastic, Took all that out, put insulation. He's a contractor anyway, but they tightened it up good. But they got it blown in, put new windows in, new doors in. It's a ranch house, so the attic was, had the big bath with insulation in there. So it works good for us. The basement's finished, so it's not exposed concrete, just the floor. Well, the floor's actually, we had the floor's carpeted. But, we have an American Standard here that's original from the house. And the motor is, it drives a squirrel cage type blower. And that's very, very easy to retrieve if you have to. Serviceable. When we bought the house, I went in and I cleaned everything up inside there, and everything looked pretty good. It was fully operational. I just wanted to go in and check things, do a new belt on it, and so on. So that's kind of a intermittent heat. We've been burning wood faithfully for quite some time here. And we'll see how it goes. The price of wood gets up too high, I'm not even going to bother anymore. But, keep wood on hand for emergency, but it's not worth paying, $300 a cord and all that. It just doesn't work. And I'm not going to buy into that either. Some people do. You got the money to do it. But I can always grab some wood from the back 40 if I need to. And getting the trees cut. Yep. We had, let me see, 1, 2. We had 6 trees taken down here. And one of them was an oak. It was on my side of the property line. And we had a burst go through here, wind, just like a downburst, really close. And what it did was it ripped one of the limbs, very healthy tree, it ripped one of the limbs right off the oak tree, and it fell on the fence. Well, around here, that's not my problem. I read up on that and all, and if there was several complaints in about the tree not being healthy and rotted and stuff, it's going to fall on his property and all that. Some history in that sense. It would have been like a lot of liability. So anyway, I cleaned it all up on the other side of the fence, cut it all up, and I took the firewood from it and straightened out its fence a little bit. It's one of those plastic white fences. But not too bad. And it's been all busted up and broken ever since. He never really fixed it. Plus, his kid ran into it a few times with the riding lawnmower. So that's kind of made a worse situation worse. But anyway, not such a big deal there. But we did have 2 trees in the front. They're only about maybe 10 feet away from the house. Big oak trees. I'll tell you, when the acorns came on, it rained acorns. I mean, it's just incredible. And then all the other byproducts of, the tree going through the cycle. They weren't rotted or anything, but they were nuisance trees. And so we had them come. They took those two. Those are about 3 feet in diameter. One of them. The other one was about 1.5 feet. Then I had one in the back was one of these deals where you get like 4 or 5 acorns that grow together. So you get one of these trees with like 4 or 5 trees coming out of the stump. And I noticed that where the trees intersected in the middle, it was cracked. Like it was going to go either north, south, east, or west. So I wrapped a chain around it and secured it that way. I ran that like that for probably about 4 or 5 years. And then I'm looking around and all this, and I'm like, something, I don't need that frickin' tree. All it does, it's another nuisance tree. It produces leaves. We got plenty of other trees around the yard. So I had them come, and they took the 2 trees in the front. They took the 4 out of 1 in the back. And those 4, they were like maybe 60, 70, 80 feet out of that cropping there. So anyway, they came and they took those, and those were about 100 feet back in the yard. So they came in with this big growth crane. It was like a 90-foot crane. And they drove the bucket truck back there. The guy got up in the tree, and they put a sling around at the top of the tree. And then they cut it in half, picked it up, and flew over the house, over the power lines. There was a crew in the street. They dropped it in the street as they were lowering it. The guy pulling it back with a bobcat, had a big floor on the front of it. And they were cutting that up. And anything over like 12 inches, they would cut up as logs. The rest went into this huge, giant chipper. So they did that whole process there. Pretty scary watching this tree grow over your house. And you're saying, hope that swing holds together. And they asked me if I wanted the wood, and I'm like, no, it was too much. There's too much going on there. I mean, I got a nice chainsaw. I could have done that. I got a log splitter. But at the time, there was just no real time to do it. And all the logs were on the front lawn and so on. But they came in $2,600. They cut down 6 trees, took it all away, and then they came back and they ground the stumps out. And what a difference, the way the sun shines in now and all that. But anyway, I couldn't get free firewood every once in a while, for sure. Yeah, we have I know you said you had the ash borers there. We've got they get into the red oaks here, and there's some other disease that they get. So the red oaks are dying out in Rhode Island, unfortunately. A lot of damaged insects that normally live in this area now do, and they just taking all the hardwoods out. So I've got a few standing dead ones in the back. And they're leaning towards the other side of the property, and that's all trees in the back there. Yep. So they make nice antenna supports, but I wouldn't put anything on them right now in case it did go and pull the wires and so on. But wood heat and just living in New England, Rhode Island's the weather here is is somewhat unpredictable. We seem to be in the vortex of where the weather comes over the Poconos and so on, and it's just by the time it gets to Rhode Island, it's getting near the ocean and the climate changes. Unless it's a real good-sized storm, It's very hard to predict the weather here in a sense, to any accuracy. But we're ready, snow blowers, snow shovels, and my wife, she always kids around with me about that, shovel the snow, and sometimes she overdoes it. So I just tell her, I said, look, I'm gonna strap a chair on the front of the truck, and I'm gonna sit you in it with a snow shovel, and I'm gonna drive up and down the driveway, and you can shovel the snow. How's that? So anyway, hopefully that resistance cooled down. The WO1SOV and 1SNG.
Yeah, okay, Glenn. N1SNG from WA1SOV. Yeah, I've got a really JS arrangement because when I pulled out that other modulation transformer, it had a screen tertiary winding on it. And so I said, well, I wasn't getting the positive peaks that I wanted to get out of the transmitter with this RCA transformer I have, because there was no screen tertiary winding. So initially I was just feeding screen voltage to the 813s, 350, 400 volts. So now I required some way to modulate it in order to get the positive peaks up, which I did. I had a surplus resistor, a big power resistor, like 300 watt job, but I had no way to mount it. So I strung it across some wood blocks in the back, and it's a multi-tap resistor, so I've got 20K in series with the modulated 2000 volt B plus to the finals, dropping to the screen voltage, and it heats up. But the end caps of it are on this wood block, and when it heats up, it starts to I can detect a slight odor of wood smoke coming from back there. So I think that's what happened. So here I am. I gotta limit my transmissions until I get the right mounting brackets, and it really should be mounted vertically. I've got this thing on its side, so it's not getting as much air around it as it might normally. Anyway, it's a JS job, but I was wanting to get the rig repaired and verify that that was the problem. Very good on all the wood scenarios there. Man, you got a full deal. Sort of similar to my situation here, and yeah, the weather's very similar here. I don't know what part of Rhode Island you're in, but we seem to get the winter storms pretty good here. This is in the west central part of Connecticut over here, almost in Danbury. You probably know where I am. Sort of midway between Danbury and Waterbury, and you get a fair amount of weather over here. Maybe not as much as the coastal towns when there's a real strong nor'easter, but many times we get storms coming down from the northwest. Several times there's been tornadoes coming across, from the northwest, and we haven't experienced it directly here, but nearby there have been. So anyway, Glenn, I think I'm going to get moving here. Maybe go up to 80 meters and see what's around. I was kind of half expecting to hear Gary on here too with you this morning. He said he was getting on here regularly, but anyway, it was good to talk with you, and I guess I missed Perry at the tail end there, but he had a good signal too. Anyway, I'm going to get moving here, but good talking with you this morning. N1SNG, WA1SOV.
There's Jim in there. I don't know if you want to sign with Jim there, Pete. I'll pass it back to you, Pete. Jim was the call out there. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Jim. Yeah, I heard you, and Glenn is in here. Not quite as strong as Glenn, but I'm hearing you. WA1UQM in the group WA1SOV.
Good morning, Pete. I just wanted to say before you sign out, very happy New Year and healthy New Year. And yours. Yeah, I was in yesterday talking with Glenn, so I thought I'd fire things up and say good morning again. You're pretty strong in here, Pete. And Glenn is about as strong as he was yesterday, so thanks for coming back. N1SNG, WA1UQM. Very good morning, everyone.
Yeah, okay. WA1UQM, N1SNG. Yeah, when you first chimed in here, Jim, you're 100% copy, not the usual. And then all of a sudden, your signal climbed right up there. So it sounded just great in here this morning. Yeah, I just kind of chewing the rag here, and see, I got up at 4:30, so yeah, I got some. The Valiant is definitely heating the room this morning. That's for sure. So anyway, I'll get it right over to Pete, and I don't know if he's going to be bailing out right now, but anyway, I'll just keep him in the rotation here for the duration. WA1SOV. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, okay, Glenn. Yeah, I am gonna sign, but really good to hear you, Jim. I agree with Glenn's assessment on your signal. It came right up. So you're right up there now. Rig sounds good too. I wonder what you're running. This is my homebrew pair of 813s. About 450, almost 500 watts of carrier right now, modulated by 833s. And listening to you on a Hammerlin SP600. So anyway, I am going to move along, but good to hear your radio. Happy New Year, man. We'll look for you again. WA1UQM and the group WA1SOV.
Okay, Pete, WA1SOV and the group WA1UQM in Simsbury. Yeah, okay, Pete. Well, thanks for sticking in it. Anyway, to say good morning, and we'll catch you on this frequency at another